The festive season is a challenging period for the Correctional Services Department as inmates become restless and desperate to be with their loved ones. Officials say they'll remain on high alert during the season. We're joined now by the Deputy Correctional Services Minister, Phathekile Holomisa. Holomisa, good evening to you and thank you so much for your time tonight. Firstly, let's talk about how worried you are about the possibility of more of your officials coming under attack from inmates.
No, we're not worried by that possibility because we've taken all the measures necessary to ensure that no such attacks occur. We have adopted standard operating procedures which have been communicated to all centers in the country by the senior management of the department to ensure that every one of our officials is aware of what is expected of them. For one thing, no official must be seen moving about alone in the units of our correctional centers. No female officials must move about alone without being escorted by fellow male officials. And the movements of the inmates also must be recorded at all times. There must be no inmate who moves about in our centers without it being known where he or she is going to. And whenever they move out, they must be searched when they move out of their units, and when they get back to their units, they must be searched. So we are confident, therefore, that incidents that have happened before resulting in the harming and even killing of female officials are not going to take place now.
Let's talk about the broader criminal activities that, whether it is your officials or even the structures of the Correctional Services Department come under. I mean, would you say that there's been a difference in terms of the activities that are reported? Has there been an increase, a decrease? Are the numbers the same?
Well, I believe there's been a decrease now in the number of such incidents. I think the COVID-19 lockdown regulations have contributed in ensuring that there's a decrease in the number of the, for instance, the smuggling of contraband, which is generally occasioned by visitors collaborating with some of our officials in getting these contrabands into our centers. Now we have moved up our activities in terms of ensuring that security arrangements are in place so that we are not in a position where we can find ourselves in a situation where any of the harmful objects can be smuggled and used against either inmates by other inmates or against inmates, used by inmates against our officials. So we're quite confident of the measures that we've put in place.
Of course, one of the difficulties is that while on the one hand you're trying to protect your officials as far as is possible, on the other, some of your officials have been implicated in the wrongdoing themselves. And by and large, it is officials that are seen to allow or enable an environment where the smuggling of different goods and items that are illegal to make their way into prison facilities. We know that often inmates will have access to cell phones. That's not necessarily supposed to be the case. So are you winning when it comes to identifying which the rogue elements are in your systems?
I'm confident that we are winning. The Acting National Commissioner, Mr. Phathekile, is conducting a number of unannounced visits to a number of our centers, and his visits have resulted in a number of these contrabands being discovered. And a number of our officials, obviously, they are the conduit of such contrabands between the outside world and the insides of our centers, have been suspended and are being dealt with as we speak.
So when it comes then to the festive season, can the public expect any broad changes to be made in as far as access to our correctional services facilities are concerned?
Yes, I think our approach is a simple but effective one, which is that of the standard operating procedures that I've mentioned. But of course, because of the festive season, and it being a season that results in an influx of visits to our centers, we have made sure that all the necessary preparations are in place, and that therefore we don't expect any rise in the incidence of escapes or any other criminal activities.
Deputy Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, that is Nkosi Phathekile Holomisa.